Good afternoon out there in Derby Worlds. Hopefully you've been taking up as much of this tournament as possible. I am Professor Wrex. We are back again with Quarry versus Quad City Hotrods. Just going to do a little rundown of the players for each team. The Quarry Rock City Roller Derby from Rochester, New York. Number 129 Little Mammoth unfortunately is not here today, but number 207 Smother Superior is. Number 2150 Fifi. Number 26 Ram Page is not here. Number 28 Purple Rain. Number 3226 Fifth Element. Number 369 Bang She Fine is also not present for Quarry. Number 5 Pythagorean Saurus Rex, or P-Rex, thanks for the abbreviation, that's awesome. Number 51 Gremlin. Number 64 Savage Patch Kid, which is a great name, back from the early 80s, I believe. Number 703 PF Bangs. And on the bench we have Took Chop and Bambi.
I'm Trouble T, joining you again here on the live stream. Calling out now for the Quad City Hot Rods, who are 1-1, and both teams facing elimination in this bout. Quad City Hot Rods made up of skaters from Belleville Bombshells, Northumberland Roller Girls, Lindsay Roller Derby, GTA Roller Girls, and the Peterborough Derby Dames. We've got 007 Justice Prevails, number 010 Blue Brawls, 101 Nukem Nick, 1111 Gumavila, 201, is not here. Number 222, Tempe Tantrum. Number 2313, Gam Bullet. Number 43, Vanna Helsing. Number 5, Cricket. Number 79, Ruby Menace. And number 7734, The Body. Coaching staff is Bossy Boots and Jaxalottapus Blue. So Quad City Hot Rods we've already seen twice here in the bubble. 1-1, absolutely dominated in their first game against the Thicket from Forest City Roller Derby. But they did lose after that to Ladies of Pain. It was a very close first half in that bout, and then Ladies of Pain ran right over Quad City. So we'll see what they come up with in this elimination bout against Quarry.
That's true. Quad City Hot Rods also is a conglomerate of a bunch of leagues around. They come at you from Belleville Bombshells, Northumberland Roller Girls, Lindsay Roller Derby, GTA Roller Girls, and Peterborough Roller Derby.
All the skaters are taken to the track now. We're getting ready to kick this thing off. This is a 20-minute bout, as they all are in this tournament. We're getting ready for the kickoff. And they are ready to roll.
There, a quick lead jam from Quarry. Number 207 is Smother Superior. That's a very, very quick jam. Got lead in the first couple of seconds before turn one and is already on scoring pass and scoring some points for her team.
I did see Cricket, number 5, who is back on from Quad City after being ejected in her last game for picking up too many penalties, dodged a huge block that came at her from PF Bangs.
That's true, and a little bit of a late call-off from Smother Superior. She scored 3 points. I can't quite see. Okay, so yeah, Quad City scored 3 points and Quarry scored 2. So unfortunately, a bit of a slow 3-3. I apologize. A little bit of a slow call off from the Quarry jammer. That might come to bite them in the ass later in this game. We'll see what happens going forward.
And for those of you viewing on the live stream, no names on the backs of the jerseys from Quarry, so we'll do our best to keep you informed here. Jamming right now is 2150. That's Fifi. Fifi has broken out way ahead of Vanna Helsing, who is jamming, takes a hard hit. We've seen her take a couple of serious bumps earlier in the day as well. So we'll see how long Vanna can take this level of punishment. Each time, except for once, she's gotten right back up and back on the skates.
It's true. Quad City Hot Rods have done a few games in quick, rapid succession here today. So essentially, they're almost playing a full bout in about the same amount of time as you would at a regular bout. So it'll be interesting to see if their team's stamina and endurance can pull through here to bring themselves the win.
We see Fifi calling off the jam there, trying to prevent too much scoring from Quad City. So that's 3 points for Quarry in that last jam, and they're ahead 6-3.
You're right. Most of the games earlier today, I did notice that a lot of the jammers were taking more penalties than they currently are. I think as this tournament's worn on, the jammers have gotten a little of the bugs out and aren't as nervous when they're jamming and they're not taking those really awkward non-smart penalties.
And Rex, we've mentioned it before, the whole spirit of this competition is the fresh skaters, the new skaters. There's a lot of learning to do here. And just as you mentioned, penalties, we see Gambullet picking up a penalty. She's had some serious trouble.
It is in Smother Superior with lead jam and already in scoring position from her team. And Rock City sending their offense. Oh, nice huge hit from
Cricket. Out,
big hit from Cricket, slowing down Smother Superior's points progression.
And you can see Smother Superior using hand signals to communicate with her blockers. However, there's Cricket knocking her down again. Seems as though Quad City is doing a good enough job defensively to quash their strategies, at least in this early going.
Yeah, it is. Rock Quarry calling off the jam before the Quad City Hotrods jammer can exit the penalty box, just to give them a little bit of advantage on this next jam coming up. They will start this jam with the only jammer on the track. It is unfortunate that we can't see what numbers from our vantage point, so we can't quite tell what jammer it is from Rock Quarry, but once we do find out, we'll let you know as soon as possible.
That's right, and it is Gambullet who is jamming for, that is Fifi jamming for Rock Quarry.
That's
and
right.
It is Gambullet who is serving a penalty. She is back on the track now and has actually cut through the entire track and is able to take lead jam, even though she was in the bin to start this one off.
Yeah, just so you know at home, if you go to the penalty box as a jammer and you start the next jam in the penalty box, you are eligible to get lead jammer despite being exiting from the penalty box.
There is a pair of blockers actually one blocker from each team currently serving penalties, so both teams a little bit shorthanded. We see Fifi go down hard, sliding in a rearward direction on her stomach.
It's a big 5 points for Gambullet on that pass. Big 5 point.
That's right, and Quad City is doing very well so far in this jam, having posted 9. Rock Quarry, though, just getting on the board now with 4 after that pass. But Gambullet putting up 4 shortly after. Blockers are taking formation. And Gambullet is able to get right through the blockers. Fifi made a nice move to get through as well, but picked up a penalty. Oh,
no. Unfortunately, Fifi picks up a forearm penalty, exiting that last pass for some points. Gambullet now on the track for the last 30 seconds of the jam on a power jam. There is no lead jam. Oh, actually, no. Sorry, Gambullet is lead jammer, so she still has control. Ooh. They can ice this jammer in the penalty box if they want to start the next jam on the penalty power jam. I think if I was in the box, I would be asking for that. Oh, no.
Gambullet goes down hard, covering her face. Looks like she might have gotten an elbow pad right in the mouth.
Yeah.
She is in pain.
It was unfortunate. In a contact sport like this, injuries do happen. It did look like Gambullet may have skated into the blocker. And I know sometimes at home it's hard. It's hard to see who is initiating the contact, and as a referee as well, trying to determine who initiates contact is like what this sport is all about as a referee. So it did unfortunately look like Gambullet initiated contact, unfortunately with her face to the shoulder of. I didn't quite pick up what blocker that was.
And as she skates toward us, I noticed that she is wearing a mouth guard. I've noticed a lot of players do not wear mouth guards, and it did look like she took a shot right in the mouth, so it could have been that mouth guard that saved a couple chiclets for Gambullet there.
You may be watching them skate around with no mouth guards while they're not playing, but I'm pretty sure they have to have mouth guards while they are playing.
Oh, well, there it is. Yeah, now that I'm looking at it, everybody's putting mouth guards in and out of their mouth, so there you go. Part of the required equipment here for roller derby. And you do learn something new every day, and I'd like to help everyone at home learn that the score right now is 20-20. After Quad City put 17 on the board, that was Gambullet after coming off of the penalty bench, posting 17 and holding Rock Quarry to 6. Which is a different score than you're seeing on the live feed, actually. The time is also not up to date as far as what we're seeing on our scoreboard in the house, which you can see in the background of your live feed. So we'll see if that gets updated or if we have to keep you up to date.
Yeah, everyone at home, unfortunately, when technology is involved, sometimes things don't work as well as we want them to. And that's what's currently going on with the scoreboard and time that you see on your screen at home. So just know that the score currently is 20-20. There is only 13 minutes and 54 seconds left.
Vanna Helsling is jamming for Quad City against Fifi for Rock Quarry.
Vanna Helsing with a nice move on the inside. Unfortunately, I think she did step out there just before she passed the last blocker and is being called on a cut track penalty.
We've got a couple of other skaters in the box as well. I think what's one blocker from each team. It is hard to see over what's going on at center track. But if I look at the live feed, yeah, we do have one individual from each team serving time right now, and one of those is the jammer for Quad City.
It is. I said the cut track, as a lot of the American announcers say, is a cut track. But here in Canada, most of us know it as a track cut. A track cut penalty going to the
Vanna Helsling.
Yeah, Vanna Helsling.
And just as Vanna gets back onto the track, Fifi calls off the jam for Rock Quarry. It's a 10-point game. Rock Quarry scored 10 points on that jam, and that is our differential right now.
It is. I just want to give a shout out to the referees and the NSOs at this tournament. Early on, I was at a few fresh tournaments and they had trouble getting enough people, but today it seems like they have plenty of referees, and that's a good thing for the sport of roller derby, as we need 7 referees to make any one game happen, and a high number of NFOs. If I knew more about NSOs, I would tell you exactly how many it takes to do an official game, but trust me, it's a lot.
Smuller Superior jamming again for Rock Quarry, using those hand signals again. Number 207, as you're watching, wearing the star penny. And she's called off the jam as Blue Brawls catches up to her. Strategic move, allowing Rock Quarry to pick up 5 points and holding Quad City to 0 as Rock Quarry calls a timeout. I am sorry, that's a Quad City timeout. Quad City.
Yeah, Coach Jax taking the timeout just to make sure that their team is ready for the next 11 minutes and 45 seconds of this game. As it is only 35-20, it's still a close game, and this is an elimination game for one of these two teams. And both of them have really shown that they deserve to remain in this tournament. It's just one of them is going to come out victorious and remain in this tournament.
And as I mentioned just before we got started, we have seen a huge swing from Quad City, where they were so superior and dominated in their first bout. They kept it very, very close with Ladies of Pain in the first half of the bout that those two teams had. But Ladies of Pain just ran right through Quad City in the last half. So maybe Quad City's a little bit out of gas. They're falling behind here in the first portion of this bout. But with their experienced coaching staff, Jax is taking a leadership role and a very direct role, calling lots of timeouts, having lots of strategic discussions. We'll see how they fare in this last bit.
And that's a very good, well-timed timeout from Coach Jax. Sometimes timeouts called by coaches aren't given enough credit. They need to be called at the appropriate time, and that was the perfect timing to do it, just to make sure that your team is ready for the next again, almost 12 minutes of this game. Quad City Hotrods have had a tough way through. I know they ran over the first team, the Thickets. They were in tough with Our Ladies of Pain from Royal City. I fortunately I coach in Royal City, so I understand the training that happens there. They're a very, very tough team. It was their first game this tournament, and I know they had a bit of trouble in the first 10 minutes of that 20-minute game. But they kind of got their wheels behind them and took it to Quad City Hotrods. But this Rock City Quarry team is the first time I've seen them today from Rochester, New York, Rock City Roller Derby. They look really, really strong. They look prepared for this tournament. They look like they're well coached as well. I know that league. They've been a WIFTA league for a very long time, and they've been around. So they have the experience in their league to make sure that their newest players understand how this game works. And that's the most important part when you're new. If you're not quite sure of why you're doing something, at least you know that you're doing something with your team, and that's the most important thing, right? If your team is doing something, you're doing them with them.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We see actually a lot of strong skating here from both teams, whereas in some previous bouts, we saw some people who looked a little newer, a little fresher. There was a fair amount of confusion, I think it's safe to say, with a few of the teams not knowing exactly what to do when penalties were called and not being so tight on defense. But here we are in a round with some experienced teams, and they seem to be much tighter than a few of the other maybe fresher teams in this tournament. So the whistle is blown. Fifi is jamming for Rock City and takes lead jam.
That's right. Justice Prevails giving that jammer a big fight at the beginning of the day. And Justice Prevails all day has been a force for the Quad City Hot Rods.
You can just see the way that that Justice sets up, and as she skated in front of us there, see how her eyes are moving, playing a very heads-up style game, making sure she's aware of where the jammer is and acting accordingly. It's a high level of awareness.
That's right. Justice Prevails, like on defense, on offense, switching back and forth from both roles. If you know that and you're this new at roller derby, you're going to have a very good career ahead of you.
Fifi has picked up a penalty as the jammer for Rock Quarry. That leaves Quad City in a power jam. So here comes Vanna Helsling looking to correct what's now a 20-point deficit. Remembering that the score that you see on your screen is not the score that we see here in the arena. The score is 40-20 in favor of Rock Quarry.
It is almost a very easy pass from Van Helsing, but unfortunately getting knocked out by Pythagoreansaurus Wrex. I cannot say that name. P-Rex. Let's go with that. P-Rex knocking her out of bounds and cycling her back. That would have been an easy 5-point pass, but unfortunately stopped by P-Rex.
And Vanna again tries to cut to the inside, but we see Rock Quarry's number 703, that's PF Bangs, had her eyes all over Vanna, read the move and bumped her to the inside. Vanna once again sent to the back of the pack.
That's right. It looks like Rock Quarry's, Rochester's defense is what's holding through here. Unfortunately, someone going down a little hard. Vanna Helsing going down a little hard, calling off this jam to make sure that that she's okay.
And as we mentioned before, she took a few hard hits, jamming in earlier bouts. So it's only a matter of time before that catches up with you in an all-day tournament. We're just past the halfway point. The score on our board is 45-20. Vanna Helsling getting checked out by EMS. They're already acquainted after a couple of earlier hits.
Yeah,
so we'll see how they might influence where she ends up today, as she's gone down a few times and has needed attention. Always back up quickly. Haven't seen any ill effects, but time will tell how long she can take the punishment that she's received. Yeah,
and I know at home there's been a number of stoppages due to potential injuries, but if you haven't played a contact sport before, which many of these skaters may not have, it is a new experience, and that happens, especially at this tournament, the Too Fresh tournament that the GTA Roller Girls put on every year. It is a new experience sometimes that they get, and that's not saying Vanna Helsing may very well have experience that I don't know about, but I do know that many of the players may not have played contact sports because, unfortunately, for women of the world, there isn't many contact sports out there. There's rugby. There's a bit of contact in field hockey. There isn't even contact at women's Olympic hockey. So this is one of the only sports where women can play and be tough and be hard and just be what.
Yeah, this is full contact. I see Vanna is up. She's skated over to the bench, but she's on the bench now, away from the rest of her team. We'll see if she just takes a breather. The referees are reviewing exactly what happened. Coach Jax is out there on behalf of the Hot Rods, making a bit of an elbowing, a bit of an elbowing forearm motion. Rock City's coach is going to come out and hear what's what. We'll see if the call on the track is reversed at all. There was actually no call on the track, from what I recall. but we'll see if there's a penalty dictated out of this.
It's true, and often a good hit happens and someone is potentially injured and it is clean. And when someone gets injured from a clean hit, it is unfortunate, but that again is what contact sports is about and competitive sports like this.
Right.
Sometimes someone will hit you very well and very clean, and it's going to hurt or you're going to get injured from it. That's the sport.
It's absolutely right. Professor Wrex, we're playing on concrete here, knee pads, elbow pads, a helmet, and a mouth guard, but nothing on the hips. You can still hit your helmet on the concrete and suffer some ill effects and get dazed. But, skaters carry on as best they can. Vanna's sitting down on the bench right now, and we hope to see her back out on the track again. In the meantime, it's Smother Superior jamming again for Rock City, and she is out in front at the moment.
Oh no! I think Cricket went to the penalty box. It looks like a cutting penalty to Cricket. Oh no! And Quad City missed their defensive responsibilities on the inside line, and Smother Superior got an easy 5-point pass to start. Thankfully, because there's only one blocker on the track for Rock Quarry, getting a second scoring pass for 4 points this time because the Rock City Hot Rods jamper is on the track again.
Yeah, not sure what happened there. She certainly didn't serve a full penalty, so there was some confusion on the track and on our behalf where Cricket went from the inside of the track all the way to the outside and skated to the penalty bench, and within seconds was back out on the track. So can't honestly tell you exactly what happened there, but it looked like that was not a penalty.
I didn't see it either, but sometimes referees will make a signal and the player may think that they're getting called on a penalty but have not, so they skate off or to the penalty box, and the referee has to call them back on the track. That does happen at pretty much almost all levels of play, all the way through up until you get to like the top 40, really. I never really see it up there, but it does happen because there's a lot of communication that goes on between players on the track, referees on the track, coaches from the bench, NSOs as well. There's so much communication that needs to happen in this game to make it work properly.
That's right. We've seen it swing the other way as well, where a player does not pick up that they're getting called for a penalty, and if you don't skate off track and get to the penalty bench, you get an additional penalty and serve double time. So communication really is key, and the awareness, especially for newer skaters like this, is a huge hurdle to overcome when you're starting out in this sport. For announcers as well sometimes. Score right now, again, is incorrect at the bottom of your screen. It's 54-23 for Rock Quarry. They picked up 9 points in that last jam. So 54-23, Rock Quarry over Quad City.
That's right, and there's only 8 minutes and 17 seconds left.
So Quad City on the verge of elimination unless Gambullet...
a huge hit from Justice Prevails, knocking the jammer out of the track. Wow, Justice Prevails number 007 can really take it to blockers on the track. The pivot as well from the Hot Rods.
That's Cricket.
Taking her turn.
It's Fifth Element who's jamming for the first time for Rock City, and she's taken quite a pounding so far. She's actually down again. So she's been laid out 3 times already, but just now has finally made it after 40 seconds of this jam, has finally made her first pass through the pack. And meanwhile, Gambullet has picked up 5 already for Quad City.
That's right, and Fifth Helmet, one of the better names of this tournament. If you haven't seen it, I don't know what you've been doing for the last 12 years, because it's on TV every year, twice a year. Fifth Element, the movie is called Fifth Element. If you haven't seen it, please go and watch it. It's great. It's great and terrible at the same time.
Good Bruce Willis action. In the meantime, Gambullet has passed through the pack again, picked up another 5 points. So Quad City is taking advantage of what they now have, which is a power jam. And it looks like Rock City is short 1 blocker as well. So a nice chance here for Quad City to put some points on the board and correct this deficit that they're showing right now.
And they are. That's a huge 15 points so far for the Quad City Hot Rods. They are pulling this game closer and closer to potentially overtaking the lead. Let's see if Gambullet can get another 5 points here and is almost out and is out.
But Fifth Element has returned to the track, so she's at the back of the pack. has passed through the pack one time already, so she's in scoring position, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not. We've got 4 points being signaled by referee Giraffe. So Rock Quarry on the board with 4, but Quad City with a very, very strong jam, 20 points, and they've narrowed that deficit down to 15 points.
Well, I'm glad you can do math because I'm terrible at math.
Well, my math is incorrect now. We're at 24 points on that last jam, so we are now at an 11-point deficit. Rock Quarry still out ahead, as they've been for the entire, pretty well the entire jam. Just under 6 minutes left on the clock. A big, massive skaters off the whistle here.
Super close to taking a cutting in the track penalty. Smother Superior getting lead instead for Rock Quarry, Rock City Roller Derby.
Blue Brawls is jamming. I think this is her first jam of the bout. She was jamming in the earlier bouts for Quad City. She's been pushed out of bounds and is way at the back of the track now. Smother Superior is trying to fight her way through the defense of Quad City and does, picking up 5 points as Cricket is sent to the sin bin for Quad City. 5
points put up by Giraffe. Smother Superior again, trying to get through that pack. Let's see if she can pick up 5 points. If she passes the Blue Brawls as well, it's 4 so far, but Blue Brawls is technically worth 1 more point and decides to call it off instead.
Blue Brawls heads back to the bench, looking pretty gassed at the end of that. At the end of that jam, she was not moving so quickly. Again, Quad City has skated an entire game more than Rock Quarry. You mentioned earlier, Professor Wrex, whether their stamina could hang on. And as I look over at the bench, Vanna Helsling is still sitting off the track. We're in a hockey rink, so she is on the actual bench. I'd be surprised if we see her again before the end of the bout.
That's true. Vanna Helsing had to, as per the rules, sit off 3, but she's set off more than 3 so far. So it's obvious that she needs to take a little bit more time to make sure that she's ready to go back in there, if she is ready to go back in there.
Gambullet jamming. It takes lead jam, rips through the pack, posts some points, and calls off the jam. A lot of information for everyone to digest at home, but it all did happen very quickly as Gambullet picked up 4 points for Quad City, narrowing that deficit, and calls off the jam.
Yeah, really smart call off. Really smart timeout from Coach Jax, stopping that clock. If you aren't sure at home, roller derby time doesn't stop unless there is an actual stoppage from the officials, the teams, or if a team takes an official review to try and ask for something that the referees may not have seen. So stopping that clock when you're down is a super important thing to do. As I think, if my math is correct, Quad City Hotrods are down by 16 points, and there's 3 minutes and 49 seconds left on the clock. Technically speaking, Quad City has an official review they can use as a timeout or an official review, so they can still stop the clock one more time if need be. It'll be interesting to see if that comes into play later on today.
And the tech team from Layer 9, who's helping us with the web streaming broadcast, not helping us, they're doing it. They're doing the entire web stream broadcast, and they've gotten the score back up on your screen. It is the correct score, and it is the correct time now after having been incorrect and having been down. So there are just under 4 minutes left to play. A tight one as we approach the end of this. We see some smiles on the jam line from Rock City. And we'll see how this one pans out. They have by no means run away with this one or locked it up yet. Smother Superior is jamming, but Cricket picks up a penalty as the jammer for Quad City. Not the time to pick up a penalty, not the time to give away a power jam, especially with Smother Superior, who's been one of the more effective jammers on the track today.
It is. I couldn't see what hand signal the referee gave the jammer. But definitely it was a penalty. Smother Superior now in control of this jam, up by 21 points. Trying to put more on the board now, and does put another 5 points for a total of 10 in this jam so far, pulling Rock Quarry ahead of Quad City Hotrods 77-51.
Yeah, Quad City's blockers are just trying to get organized, and they don't take a very solid formation before Smother Superior comes crashing through, sends Tempe Tantrum out of bounds, picks up another 5 without much trouble at all. A big jam late in the game. This could be Rock Quarry putting the nail in the casket for this one again through the pack. Wow, 20 points so far. What a great way to close this one out for Smother Superior.
It is. This is a huge hand for Rock Quarry. It looks like they may have pulled too far away from Quad City Hotrods. I don't want to give it away too much. It definitely still could turn the other way, but Quad City Hotrods is definitely going to have to pull something out of their hat to make this game turn in their favor.
I've got to say, it's I'm just about ready to call this one. It looks like Quad City is going to be packing their bags. There's going to have to be a huge swing in order for this to happen. And I see Jack signaling for a request for an official review after Rock Quarry puts up a 25-point jam late in this game.
And again, as a coach myself, calling an official review here, even if you have nothing to talk about, is exactly what you need to do to stop that clock when you're losing a game. Your team just needs to have the clock stop so they have as much time as they can to do whatever they can. And 92-51, I know at home you're thinking there's no way Quad City Hotrods can come back, but I've seen more interesting things happen in my 8 years of roller derby than someone coming back from this deficit. It definitely can happen.
41 points. You could do it in 2 jams. We've seen many 20-plus point jams, but time is not on the side of Quad City. With only 1:48 left on the clock, they may only get two jams, and 2 not even full jams. Might be difficult to get those high scoring ones. Certainly not impossible though.
No, it's not impossible. If Quad City Hotrods had one more stoppage, it's a little bit easier because they can win a jam, score a bunch of points, call the jam off, call another timeout, and get another jam going. But unfortunately, I think they've used all of their timeouts, so they have a minute and 48 seconds total to work with. So they would essentially have to win the next jam, score some points, call it off before there's 30 seconds left on the game clock, and then hope that they put up huge points in that last jam.
Not impossible, but certainly doesn't sound easy. Would note that Vanna Helsling is now back off the bench and standing with her teammates at trackside. Wonder if she'll get called in for the last few jams here. It's yet to be seen. We're still under official review right now. There is a player for Quad City serving a penalty right now, so they'll start the next jam shorthanded no matter what, and that certainly doesn't put them in a great position to pull off the kind of miracle that they're going to have to work toward if they want to stick around in this tournament.
Right. If I was Coach Jax or Bossy Boots in this situation, I would put out the best line I can with Gamble It, jamming, in hopes that we win that jam, score a few points, call it off, and and then send out the same line, or at least an equivalently strong line with Gamble It jamming. She has been the jammer for this team so far, and just hope that they can. One of those 2 jams is roll the dice and put up some big points.
And it's the penalty problems, I think, with Gambullet and Cricket getting sent to the penalty box sort of throughout this game. That's caused the deficit that we're seeing right now. Unfortunate. They're both excellent skaters and excellent players, but penalty trouble is enough to sink a team, especially in a short bout like these 20-minute bouts. When you have a full bout, you can do some different things to make it work, even if you get into some penalty trouble. But with only 20 minutes on the board, you don't have time to work with.
No, you're right. And coaching myself, I give my team a lot of heck when they get too many penalties. Not too much heck, but a little bit of heck to make sure that they try to stay out of that penalty box, because it is huge. Anytime you go to the box as a blocker, you're making another blocker worth more points, and that's what it is in this sport. Going to the penalty box isn't, unless your penalty has specifically gotten the jammer free for lead jammer, or has gotten her out for that full point pass it is usually not worth going to the penalty box.
Yeah, it's all about discipline. As we were mentioning that, we just saw Cricket skate by with an official out of the track area. It looks like she has gone for the remainder of the game. 4 penalties and you're out in this tournament.
It's true. I can see a big line through one of the numbers on the whiteboard here from across the way. It does look a little blurry, but I think it is scratched out, so she has definitely picked up 4. Normally in a full bout you get 7 penalties, but in these ones you only get 4.
So both jammers are pushing hard here to get through, and it ends up being Pythagorasaurus Wrex, P-Rex.
Much better than me.
It's a first attempt, but Pythagoras Wrex breaks through, picks up lead jam, picks up some points actually for the players who are being calculated as serving penalties. Jax again with an official review late in the game here.
I don't know. Jax must have won the earlier review, which is quite incredible. I wish I had some microphone in there to see what he asked for and what he won, because there, in no world do you get 2 official reviews in one half. So the only way to get that was that he won the previous one. And if he did, that's quite impressive, because winning a review is like every coach's dream.
Yeah, you don't see referees overturning their calls too often in the absence of video replay. Certainly no video replay here. You're at home watching the best video that we've got at the moment. But the officials and the coaching staff certainly don't have that luxury, and we don't have any instant replays at all. So not too sure exactly what went on there. Coach Jax has left the center of the track. Hard to read exactly what's going on. The officials are off trackside having a conference. Rock City's official, you can see to the right of your screen, is standing with their captain, just waiting to hear what the decision is under this official review. But here we are. We've only burned 30 seconds off the clock from that last jam, so 1:16 left. No points right now on the board for either team in that very short jam. But time's certainly not on the side of Quad City, down by 41.
It isn't, but Jax has done everything he can for his team, making all the penalties or all the timeouts happen that they need to stop these clocks in order for his team to have enough time to try and bring this game back in their favor. So hopefully the Quad City Hot Rods can like take this jam and run with it. I know this deficit now with 1:16. I know before I was saying is a bit difficult. Now it is extremely difficult, because if Quad City Hot Rods was to pull out this game, I'm pretty sure they'd have to score the most amount of points in a jam in the current with the rule set, which would be quite incredible.
Happy to note, you'll see on your screen with the purple and white bonnet, that is Vanna Helsling. She's back on the track, so the injury not too serious. She did sit out. She did take a little extra time beyond the mandated time, but she's back out on the track. Strong skater, really doing a lot for her team as much as she can. And Blue Brawls is jamming. Blue Brawls is in lead jam position, facing off, I believe, against Smother Superior.
So Hot Rods are hoping that they can set up some kind of defense and that their jammer goes to the penalty box, but does not. Calls off. That is a good call off from Quad City. They will get one more jam in this game. That was a very, very small call off from their jammer, Blue Brawls. I'm sure Jax was mentioning that to their jammer. If they get a quick lead, they have enough time to call it off and get one more jam in this game.
They still ended up in the hole, though, on that jam. Rock Quarry on the board with 2, and Quad City only picked up 1. So even that strategy aside, doesn't help them out so significantly on the scoreboard. Time is winding down. 30 seconds, or sorry, looks like only 15 seconds left on the clock. So looks like this will be the final jam unless it gets called off right away.
It is 2-0 down Smother Superior. The jammer of note for this game for Rock City Roller Derby has a very high lead jam percentage and been very consistent for her team. Juking and jiving through that pack and getting her 4 points. Calling off that jam as the period clock comes to a 0. That score 90, it would be 98 to 52 now. should be the final.
And that'll spell the end of the day for Quad City, unfortunately.
That's unfortunate. Quad City was a very, very strong team.
A very strong team, and it's really worth noting, we've done it a couple of times, that they come from different leagues. Today, this morning, their very first bout was the first time that they had ever skated together as a team. No practices and no previous bouts as a team. So they're trackside, they're getting their photos taken. We may never see that squad together in the same configuration. Cricket is back out of the dressing room to be part of the team picture after getting ejected on this one. But strong team, a bit of a short day. They managed to win one, and the next two didn't quite go their way. So they're done. They're packing it up.
No, you're right. And it speaks volumes to leagues that have players that can play together and play as a team, because this sport, like no other, you need to have a team that can actually play together and play like a team and to win. No matter how strong your skaters are, you still need to know what everyone else is doing on that track. And the only way to do that is to practice and scrimmage together as much as possible.
And that's a big testament to your organization that you come from out in Guelph, Royal City. You guys have lots of teams, lots of practices, and lots of discipline, and it really pays off. We saw that with Ladies of Pain, who handed Quad City their first loss. And just really want to note, we've done it throughout the bout and throughout the last few bouts. Coach Jack's a huge influence on getting a team from different leagues organized and leading them, making sure that they all knew what they needed to do. We saw really, really smart official reviews at the end. You noted how difficult it is to win one of those, and it looks like he did. So Coach Jack's, I think, just from an organizational standpoint, really put this team ahead.
Oh yeah, he did everything he could for his team, and that's exactly what you need in a coach is to make sure that you give your team the time that they need to try and bring the game back in their favor. And like when I see that, I have nothing but respect for that, because I coach myself, and to have the presence of mind to keep your team's mental state in check and physical well-being in check, and to watch the game and to make sure that the referees are refereeing the game properly. And if you see something, to be able to call timeout and overturn something is really, really quite impressive. And big props to Coach Jax and the Quad City Hot Rods, as well as the Rock Quarry Rock City Roller Derby, for coming out all the way from the United States, Rochester, New York.
That's right.
It's for people might think once you come from the U.S. it might be a long trip, but it's only about a 4.5 hour drive for those people. It's still crossing the border and coming up to Canada. That's awesome for everyone, and it's a great experience.
Yeah, you're right.
I am Professor Wrex.
I'm Trouble T. 98-52 was your final score, and Quad City heading home. Rock City lives to fight another bout.
That's true, and you won't have to hear my voice at home anymore. I get to go and have some food after I've had a few beers. So hopefully I'll see you back soon. There is a game coming up shortly between, it looks like, the Durham Region Roller Derby Dirty Farmers
and Lansing Dixons.
And Lansing Dixons from Ann Arbor and Lansing, Michigan.
Signing off.